We're going to try to talk to Kelly again. Kelly, who is calling in from California. You are live again on Truth Wanted. What is up?
Yeah, I got to learn how to use my phone.
That's okay.
Disconnect button when I'm trying to take out speaker. So,
the best
yeah.
of us.
Hey, I was listening, and my friend Robert called in. I figured
He certainly did.
I told him to. And he kind of threw a couple out at me. That's quite all right, Robert. I'm used to it. No problem. I got something. I don't have nothing. I got something. So anyway, yeah, it's good to be back on, guys. Thanks for kicking me back in. So
yes.
I think where we left off was I was going to talk about God's existence.
Yes, I would love for you to convince me that God exists.
Well, I don't know that I can do that. All I can do is give you evidence. You have to evaluate that yourself.
Okay.
You have to take that into consideration and evaluate. So,
all right.
That's what I did.
You should be confident in your ability to convince me, Kelly. You gotta bring the mojo in. I don't know. You do what you want.
Mojo, but it ain't about it. No, it ain't about evaluating. It's about whether or not you're willing to. But anyway, so I think there's several things that demonstrate that God exists. If you want to call him a designer, whatever. I know you guys are kind of fearful about the word God, but anyway, if you want to call it a designer, that's fine with me.
I don't know if I'm scared. I'm not fearful. I mean, are you fearful, Brently?
No, not at all. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not fearful. I'm open to it if it has, if there's some good logic and reason behind it.
Yeah.
If I have good reasons to think that's true.
Okay, so it's not. So guys, it's just not my side that's logic and reason. You have to logic and reason as well.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, Kelly, listen. Here's the thing. If I was afraid, I wouldn't be talking to you right now on my show, right? So, I think we're open to it. We're ready.
Okay. All right. But both of us have to logic and reason, right? You have to logic and reason about your belief system. You have a belief system. It's called atheism. I have a belief system. It's called theism. And you have to reason between the two.
Well, those are definitely claims.
We can.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to debate on the system of belief that is atheism or whatever. I think we should just cut to the chase and let's just talk about the God claim. I think that's the best place we can go from here.
Okay. All right. Sounds fair to me. So, instructions in DNA. Brently's heard me talk about this. Robert's heard me talk about it. He calls it nothing, but it's real. Instructions in DNA have to have an origin.
Instructions in DNA have to have an origin.
Evaluate. And of course they do, because they're there. Me and you both agree on that, right? The DNA is loaded with instructions.
I don't know.
Molecule. You can look at any website. Look at any website you want to look at. It'll tell you.
Instructions kind of imply that there's an instructor doing instructing, and like that itself, I would disagree with. Yeah.
That's your leap to conclusion. That didn't come from me. What I'm saying is that you have a set of instructions.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying that they're instructions, though. Like, that's the thing. Like,
the way you're framing it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now I'm talking about the evaluation part.
Okay, but you did say that websites and books and places will say it's instructions, and I agree with you to the extent, Kelly. I agree with you to the extent that people will use it as a metaphor. But I don't know, like, if scientists, as a consensus, literally believe that these are instructions.
It most definitely does.
Okay, well, that is your opinion, and you can try to convince me of that.
My opinion, you look at this is what I was talking about when I said you got to come up with evidence. But you can look at any website you want to look at.
No,
every one of them tell you DNA is a information instruction rich molecule.
Kelly,
anyone.
That's fine that a website says that. That doesn't.
If you're saying that they're lying about it, if you're
I'm not.
All these different ones are lying about it, then who's the one that's not believing what's written? Me or you?
Oh my goodness!
The way you're framing it,
man. We just have a. If you heard what I said, yeah, people definitely use that as a metaphor. Like, yeah, people definitely write and say.
But it's not.
I'm sure there are lots of but. Whether or not you think it's a metaphor is different from the people who are authoring the books. And I don't think the people who are authoring the books, aside from the creationists and whatnot, are saying that these are literally instructions. Like, there are.
Go to and don't go to the creation website, Dan. Don't go there.
I don't.
Right, go to
So
the materialist website.
check that off the list. That's fine.
Product. Go to the instruction product. Go to the DNA instructions on any Gmail you want to look at, and every single one of them will tell you there's instructions. It's obvious. The DNA tells the RNA what to go out and do, what to go out and build. The RNA tells the proteins what to go out and do, and it translates from DNA to RNA. That's just fact.
That is the function of these molecules. I 100% agree with you there. Well, I mean, there might be some fine points there. I'm not a biologist, but on a base, Kelly, you have to let me talk, man. You have to let me go through this. Okay, I agree with you that is the functions that are happening within DNA. DNA interacts with RNA, and there's all kinds of fun stuff happening there. Whether or not it's intentional, okay, that is where we have a disagreement. Okay. Just because there are things happening and they're really cool doesn't mean that it's not a natural structure that occurs without a designer. Because I mean, that is the conclusion I come to. I do think that there is no reason for us to believe that there is a creator behind it. The fact that this exists in nature is not enough to come to the conclusion that there is a designer behind it. It really is not.
So any set of instructions you want to go to has an author. Every single set we know of.
Okay.
Only because you're afraid of that.
Known.
We got it.
Can I finish?
No, we got it.
I feel like you didn't hear my point at all.
Didn't hear anything.
I just
listened. I wondered if I'm going to be able to talk or not.
Go ahead,
Kelly. You can talk as long as you're able to listen. Okay. You have to convince us that these are instructions first. You cannot work with the assumption that, okay, every instructions has to have an author because we don't agree with you on the instructions premise. So you have to work with us there, Tell
you what, you guys can both prove me wrong. You can prove me wrong. All you got to do is one thing.
What do you mean prove you wrong?
Author.
Do what?
Prove me wrong.
So,
all you got to
say that again.
One thing. Let me finish.
All right.
You can prove me wrong. All you got to do is one thing. Prove me wrong, and I'll admit to it. Bring me a book that has no instructions. You prove me wrong.
We talk about DNA. We're not talking about books. What is going on?
Instructions? Like
what the?
Any
Kelly,
book that's not an instruction manual.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
David Fitzpatrick on this show? David Fitzpatrick, is he there with you guys? Last time I was on with him, he wouldn't let me talk either. Well, DNA is full of instruction. If you guys don't think that, then you're living in the past with the guys you were talking about with the UMA project that thought Robert Kennedy was going to show up. If you don't think there's instructions in DNA.
Really? I'm with the guys that thought JFK Jr. was still alive because I don't believe in young Earth creationism or any kind of creationism for that matter. That's what that makes me.
And like the majority of that crew is Christian, right? You get that right?
Yeah, like they're the ones that definitely believe that DNA has instructions. I just want to make that clear, right? If you ask all those people, they are in agreement with you, Kelly. So you can make of that as you will.
I can't think because you won't allow for things to enter into your brain. Because the fact is,
the instructions weren't clear enough, I guess. I don't know. I guess they weren't doing their job. I don't know. Kelly, I'm dropping this call because this is getting too hostile for me. I don't like this. This isn't my style. We didn't do street epistemology at all. And I failed at that. So that is my bad.
Me too. Yeah, sorry.
But I felt like I was explaining myself really well.
You were, yeah.
I thought it was pretty clear, but it didn't seem like he was listening. I don't know.
No, he repeats. He just sort of keeps going over the same point that he thinks is like really, because I've had this debate with him, and it just drones on, and it's not entertaining. So I'm glad you kind of dropped it because it's like he just keeps going over. Oh, you can't make a book, and he like changed it, a book without instructions, and I'm like, there's tons of books that don't have any instructions there. Like
What he was trying, I think, with that
But-
point, what he's trying to say was a book has like information, and
Yeah.
like there's an intent to that information to be conveyed to somebody else. Like I get that, that's just a difference in words. Okay, I won't fault him for that. But like I will say, you can't just start if we say, yeah, I don't agree, it's instructions, and
No.
for you to be like, well, instructions have authors, right? It's like, yeah, but we're not talking about instructions.
But
This is not the same thing.
Right. It's almost like
Yeah.
if like each wave in the ocean, we applied a different I don't know, like a letter or whatever, like anything like, oh, this describes a wave going this way, and then that wave will affect a different wave going thing. It's just a natural process, right? Like
Sure.
waves knocking into each other, just a natural process. But if we applied, letters and numbers and stuff like that, would look like a code, right? Okay.
And
then he's just
yeah.
taking that and going, oh, well, then there must be a fucking, water god or whatever,
Right.
It's like,
Right. DNA is obviously very complex. Cells and the process of mitosis and the process of life is super complex, and I get that, but it's the way that it is because of millions and millions and millions of years of evolution that have led to this point, and that makes more sense. It wouldn't make sense if we just popped up here one day and there wasn't any evidence of any ancient humans or other organisms. Then that would be reason to believe, like, yeah, maybe there's something there, right? Maybe you could entertain that. But we do have evidence of ancient organisms, and we have evidence of organisms that were less complex, that become more complex over time. And a complex, of course, that gets very technical with what you mean by that. But you get my point, right? Like, there isn't a question of the origins of humans as far as like how we came to where we are today. That is the process of evolution. Life on Earth, there's a couple different theories for that, right? But how we are today, that's not like majorly up for debate. There's going to be bits and pieces of us that we don't understand, but it was evolution. We definitely know
right.
that.
And we don't know what started it, but that's fine. I'm fine just saying I don't know, man. Like I have no idea what started whatever, whether it's just some
Definitely.
well, just whatever. I don't know. There's so many options I can't even
I need to get full disclosure. I feel very bad. My show does not really usually go that way. I'm just like,
sorry.
No. It's like I want to have good conversations with people and have really honest talks about why people really believe what they believe. I really want to know why, but we have to have a conversation. We can't just pretend like I said something and then just forget that it never happened. So if there's honest interlocutors who want to talk with us about whatever their beliefs is, please don't feel like you're going to be shunned or made fun of. That's really not my intention. My intention is for this to be a space where you can call in and talk about it, and we can really have a discussion. But not whatever that was. But
no,
anyway.
I think that's why Robert was kind of warning us about that.
Well,
sort of ahead of time there.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah.